Good morning. Welcome to Virtual Balance Class with the Main Strong Balance Center, hosted by myself, Kathleen, from the Main Strong Balance Center. And today we're here for our 15th week of Virtual Balance Class. Each time I say the number, I just can hardly believe it, but we're doing it 15 weeks later. Welcome everyone, whether you're here for the first time or here for the 15th time. It's good to see you, good to have you. I think today might be a special day or a special class because 15 is my lucky number. It was the day I was born, so that might have something to do with it, the October 15th. So I do like that number a lot. It was always my soccer number or whatnot. So maybe it's a special class for some reason. All right. Hey, Jessica. Good morning. Thank you. You too. Good to see you. Thanks for coming to class. All right. So class is dedicated to improving our balance. And we're going to do that through a few different types of exercise, some targeted balance exercises combined with some strengthening to keep ourselves improving our balance through a number of different mediums of exercise. Hi, Del. Good morning. Yes, good to see you too. Okay, so with that being said, all of this expertise is transferring over from the Main Strong Balance Center, our physical therapy clinic, and then also my background in kinesiology, so that's human movement. So these are things that combined, we've worked on making this class lineup of exercises, and they're all specified to balance in particular. All right, so at the clinic itself, we're open for some in-house appointments if that's something that you're interested in. We also have telehealth running as an option, so in a similar way to this class, you could meet in a virtual session with a physical therapist. So always let us know if those things are things that you're interested in. We can set something up if you'd like to supplement this class with some more individualized attention. All right. And it's just about 9:30. We're getting there. We usually start the class at 9:30. So everybody, I guess the very first thing always to consider is the setup that you'll have when doing the class. So I've got just a chair here. If you've got a chair at home that you know works really well for you, go ahead and use that one. The chair should be something that's stable, so we're going to use it both in a chair-like fashion by sitting in it for some of these warm-up exercises and some of the strength later to come. So as you're sitting, you'll be coming up into standing and things like this. So you'll want to make sure that when you come back to sit down that your chair is stable and not rolling around or anything like that or tipping over. So find something that's secure for your seated position activities. And then also we're going to be doing a lot of standing balance activities that sometimes we may feel unsteady, and unsteady in a good way, in the type of way that we're really challenging our balance and thus making improvements. So in that type of setting, you want to find yourself behind a surface, whether it be the back of the chair, if it is a sturdy chair, a surface that you can touch upon as a reset button in times of need. So just something to stabilize yourself as we're preparing for the balance exercises, or if you're in the middle of doing it and you just need to touch and reset. So that could be a kitchen countertop as well, or the back of your sofa, or anything that's about this hip width, not hip width, but hip height to you, something that you're not leaning over to touch onto each time, but something that's pretty natural for your hands to put some weight onto if you need. Okay. So just consider those things as you're getting ready for the class. We're going to be starting in a seated position for our warm-up exercises, so find yourself there first and we'll go right into those. Okay. So for our seated warm-up, we're getting right into it. And things that we always want to think of beforehand are our posture points. And finding ourselves in a good posture shape is a little bit more than just sitting up straight, right? So I think that's the biggest connection to posture is sitting up straight, so we're quick to, bring our shoulders back and really try to get as tall as we possibly can. And in a lot of ways, those are good things. But there's a lot more to pay attention to, so we'll go through these together. So starting from the floor up, you're going to want your feet to be hip-width apart as we're here. Actually, starting from your seat, we'll do that because I think I skip that one sometimes. So rather than being back and lounged and reclined in your chair, you want to make sure that you're in a nice active seat. So pulling your seat forwards just a little bit. You don't have to be teetering on the very edge of the chair, but just finding this more sense, we'll find a better sense of alignment if we're a little bit further forward on the chair, that active seat. We can really engage a bit better, okay? So slide yourself forward, get your feet about hip width apart on the floor in front of you. Push down into the floor through the soles of your feet, okay? So finding that firmness can really wake these muscles up a little bit and get even your legs involved in your seated position. Okay, next we'll do our pelvic tilt. So as your pelvic tilt comes together, you're going to be pulling the tummy in tight. So the lower abdomen is going to contract. We're going to contract those muscles to the point that our pelvis tucks forward just a bit here. So rather than pushing forward and kind of having this really deep curvature at the low spine, if we engage the muscles of the core and we tuck the pelvis underneath of us a little bit, we can find better alignment back there. So really get that squared away. Drop the weight in your shoulders so that your shoulders are relaxed at your sides rather than pulling up from your neck. And draw backwards slightly, so the shoulder blades in the back, we want to almost draw them together, just slightly. And the last thing we make sure to keep in mind is our chin tuck. And as we tuck the chin in, we get to stretch out this cervical spine, some of the muscles there, and also getting some length in the vertebrae. Okay, so just a little chin tuck there helps to better align our neck. And then from here we breathe, because breath is so important. So as we breathe, we'll raise our hands up to the ceiling with our inhale, and down to our center with our exhale. Up, inhale, down, exhale. And as you inhale, exhale here, try to fill your belly so that you're getting a nice warm up for your diaphragm muscle. And as you're exhaling, you can tighten that core, that belly even more, and pull it in towards the back, almost like you're trying to suck it back towards the spine for a nice engaged exhale. One more breath. Good work. Our breathing is very important, so that's also one of the pieces that ties together our posture, really setting ourselves up for a good shape. So pay attention to your breath as the class goes on, and I'll give you a few reminders to keep breathing, which is ever so important. Okay. From here, we'll do our neck rolls. Neck rolls are just getting the joints of the neck, of the cervical spine warmed up. So any clicking you might hear is an okay thing. We've all got a little bit of clicking to some extent. Just bring your head around in a circular rotation here. And make your shape as small or as large as it feels comfortable. And switch directions. your head back to neutral, and we'll go into our shoulder rolls next. And for our shoulder rolls, we'll go in 2 directions as well, forwards and backwards. For the first one, you're going to want to bring your shoulders forward, up, back, and down, right? So getting this nice roll of the shoulders, drawing your shoulder blades even further, closer, well, further wasn't really the right word, but even closer together in the back. Trying to get that nice pinch in the upper back, rather than lifting up from the neck. We're really focusing on engaging the shoulder muscles. And roll in the opposite direction. So you're going to bring your shoulders down, forward, up, and oh, no. You're going to bring them forward, down, back, and up. Okay? I almost had you go in the same direction twice. Keep those up, couple more rolls. Alright, next we'll warm up hands and arms, and in doing so we're going to bring our arms across our body, hands are down by our hips, close your hands into fists, give some nice pressure there, and then we'll go through this pattern of motion, lifting arms up, hands open at the top, crossing, and fists are closed. Arms up, hands are open, crossing, fists are closed. And again, at the top of this motion, you'll want to pinch those shoulder blades together, drawing them closer in your upper back. Okay, we'll go on to the low body next. So moving our hips to the side, or by moving our feet out to the side like this will be the motion that we're doing. We'll get to wake up our outside hip area. Okay, I keep scooching over and still somehow not finding myself in the view of the camera. Okay, so for this action, we'll start with the right side, and you're just going to pick up your foot, bring it up to the side, drop it down, bring it back into the middle. So this is really a lifting and a tapping action. I think the most important thing here is that you do find that lift of the foot in the middle of each tap, and as you're doing this, if you need to limit your motion here to feel comfortable doing so, go ahead. Again, find your shape, find the distance that works for you. You don't have to be working super, super hard to bring your leg all the way out to the side. It's just a matter of warming up this muscle here. Okay, switch over to your left. Left leg is now lifting and tapping out to the side. And we will alternate. So your right leg followed by your left. And torso stays forward if you can. Just try to keep your torso squared straight forward. Just the legs are active here. All right, bring them both back into the middle. And from here we'll do our seated marching. And seated marching, get your knees lifted, your feet lifted, arms can be involved. As you can see, mine are like just marching along in our seated position. If you can get a little bit more activity in the legs, you can lock the arms down on whatever chair you're sitting in if you've got a good spot to do so. Otherwise, keep them rolling. slow down your seated march, and we'll do our last warm-up exercise, our ankle joint warm-up. So this is a riding exercise that is specific to our ankle joint. So you're thinking of your big toe as a pencil, and you're imagining as if the floor is your canvas. So we're going to be writing with our foot, and we'll write 15 today. 15 on the right and 15 on the left with letters. Not numbers would be far too short. We'd have to write it like 15 times. So write out the word 15. Pay attention to what your ankle's doing. Try to keep that motion limited to your ankle rather than coming from the knee or the hip, right? And move over onto your left when you're ready. And we'll write again 15. Okay. There we are. We're warmed up. After our warm-up, we're going to get into our targeted balance exercises, and with these we use a few balance positions that I will give you a rundown on so that you're familiar. If you already are familiar, then you probably know which one you like to work in, or maybe which one you've been working towards or working on. Alright, so our balance positions are funky standing positions, and as we stand in these, I'll scooch this back so you can see better. As we stand in these positions, we limit our center of balance, so the body becomes a bit more challenged than it is in a normal stance. It's harder to maintain a limited center of balance stance than it is our wide center of balance or our normal standing stance. And through that challenge, our body can make improvements based on the information that we get from the body holding these standing positions, and vice versa based on the information that our brains continually send out to our, the soles of our feet, the ankle joint, the knee joint, all of the muscles associated. Okay? So this is kind of a messaging game. But the more that we spend time in these positions, the greater influence we can have on our overall balance abilities and balance confidence. Okay? So this is our first position, which is why I'm standing here. This is feet together. If your feet can't quite come all the way together, draw your knees together as close as they can be. And the idea here really is, again, we're limiting that center of balance and making a more difficult stance to work through. Okay? This is our first position, feet together. The second position is a semi-tandem position where one foot comes slightly in front of the other, so about halfway. You could think of the heel of your front foot touching the instep of your back foot, right? So if my hands were the soles of my feet, they would look like this on the ground. Feet together is here, semi-tandem is here. And then there's a third position we call full tandem, which looks like this. The heel of your front foot is touching the toe of your back foot. Okay? And then lastly, we have a fourth position. You can do anything on one leg. Feel free to do so. And we always give the opportunity to switch sides for each exercise. If you're working in position number one, just stay there for each minute that we do, or minute and a half. So really, too, this is all about what works for you. Find the position that is a challenge, but it's also comfortable enough that you're not resetting on the chair every 5 or 10 seconds or so. And what I mean by that, we're going to do all of these exercises behind our surface so that we're nearby, we're independently standing. So that means we will get the most out of these exercises if we're not using our surface for extra points of contact. So if your hands are hovering just above or at your sides, but your surface is always nearby to reset on. okay? So we'll do this for a minute on each side to start. That's always kind of our warm-up, our go-to warm-up position. Find yourself in the position that works for you right now. It may be one that you're revisiting and you know that you like to use it for your warm-up here today, or maybe it's your very first time, and I would recommend going into that first position if it is your first time, seeing how that feels, and then moving forward from there, okay? So everybody find yourself in your balanced position. Give yourself the opportunity to stand independently here. Maybe find a point in front of you, something to keep your eyes focused on. For some people that helps a little bit, just in terms of getting in the swing of things. But if you can see also, if you take your eyes away from whatever point you just locked in on, and check out what I'm doing. So I am a little bit wobbly, and that slight wobbliness is, where we want to be to some degree. A little bit of wobbliness shows that our body is working and having to overcome that limited center of balance challenge that we're giving to ourselves, okay? So this wobbliness to some degree is a good thing. If we're doing it so much that we're constantly needing to reset, whether it be with the use of our hands or by taking a step outward and coming back into center, both of those things are technically resetting us. And so if you find yourself in that position where you're a little bit too challenged, come down a position and work through that one first. Really master it. In terms of mastering it, we're looking for 30 full seconds of independent stance without doing any of those reset tactics, such as touching on the surface or taking a step out to the side. So 30 full seconds of independent stance is a good sign that you're ready to move to the next position. Okay, we'll switch sides if you're in a position to do so. So slide your opposite foot backward, just changing your footing when I say switching sides. And again, find your balance here and hold for as long as you can. And find that balance between comfort and challenge in doing so. Okay. Keep going a little bit longer. Good work, good work. All right, really good job. So that was a little bit of a longer hold. As we're doing these too, it's important to remember that the positions work in a progression. So number 1 followed by number 2, number 3, and one leg. As you go through these, you'll find yourself moving at your own pace here, and that's important to do. You may not get to position number 2 in a week, or you may get there in 2 days, in a week, in just this one class, or it may be a couple weeks before you find yourself moving into that next position. And that's okay. Really work on your foundation first, get your feet together, position locked in and feel comfortable there, then move on to your position number 2 and take whatever time you need to do so. So that's just very important to remember as we go through class. Okay, so we're going to add some extra layers of challenge in here. as we add more layers of challenge, you are always welcome to adjust your position as needed. So once you pick one position to work in today, you don't have to stay with that position for every exercise that we do. You can adjust your position per exercise. So these layers that I'm talking about do increase the difficulty of each exercise that we're doing. And in doing so, there may be times where you need to step back a position, or even certain circumstances where you might find, oh, I feel like I'm doing this one really well. I'm going to go from position number 2, the semi-tandem, into the full tandem, and try that out for size. So through each of these different layers, you'll find a different level of challenge for yourself and adjust your balance position accordingly. The first layer we're going to add on, or remove in a way, is our vision. So as we close our eyes during this type of exercise, the balance systems in our body have to work a little bit harder to keep us balanced, because our vision is a big player in our balance abilities overall. Without our vision, those other systems have to be more active and engaged, okay? So find yourself in your balanced position here and close your eyes. Remember to breathe. Try to rest your shoulders if you can. Sometimes when we're in the closed eyes position, we get a little bit, to some degree it's more uncomfortable than the eyes open activity, because it feels unusual. We're so used to getting that visual information, and without it, our bodies feel like, hey, why'd you turn the lights off, So remember to breathe, try to rest your shoulders, find the foundation in your footing, that strong base that you've built, and work through this challenge. Maybe finding a slight bend in the knee to keep the muscles of the legs more engaged as we go on throughout the class. A tiny bend, nothing excessive. You don't have to be like doing a full-out squat here or anything. Just a small bend will help to protect the joint there and keep us on our toes in a way. So not as though you actually want to shift your weight onto your toes and be on your tippy toes, but that'll keep us ready if we want to take a reset step out to the side for any reason. All right, open your eyes up. We held that one for a really long time, so hopefully that gave you an opportunity to get those, maybe even to that full 30-second hold or longer, perhaps even a minute if you made it all the way there. Good work. We're going to switch sides and do the same thing on this opposite side, where we are eyes closed, standing in our balanced position, maintaining our balance here, holding through the wobbliness, through the challenge that we've created, making sure to breathe, bringing yourself down into your roots, so getting your feet, pushing that pressure through the soles of your feet, just like we did in our warm-up, getting your muscles engaged and feeling active for this balanced position stance. And hold your shape for as long as you can. Try to really maintain this independent stance, giving us all the tools we need to help to improve our balance. Keep working. Go about 15 more seconds. Keep going. All right, open up your eyes. Welcome back to the world. I always feel that way when we're doing a balance exercise with our eyes closed. You can even let your legs shake out a little bit. Maybe stand in a normal stance and sway from side to side. Just let yourself normalize here a little bit back to our typical stance. And we'll go into some body weight shifting next with our balance exercises. And for these, you'll be standing in your balance position yet again. And we will be shifting our body weight from forward and backwards, side to side. We'll do a rotational shift at the end there. And as we do this, you're in your balance position. I'll just tilt to the side a bit so you can see my action better. You're going to want this action to come from your ankle joint. We'll start by doing some forwards and backwards shifting, which should look like this, right? So our body is pretty much in like a full straight line pendulum type action, letting all that movement come from the ankle. And pushing all of our weight from the very, very, very tips of our toes to the backs of our heels. You might find yourself lifting the toes a little bit as you shift to the back, or lifting the heel as you shift to the front. That's not something you have to do, but you may find that that's happening for you as you do this, especially I think in the full tandem position. If you're rocking forward onto the very, very front of your front toe, it's often likely that your back heel might rise up. And the same, your toes might rise on the front foot when you shift back. Okay, so whatever position you're working in, find this weight shift forwards and backwards, not quite pushing your limits, but reaching them, feeling that unsteadiness there, always having your surface nearby for a need to reset, and always being able to take a step out to the side if you need to reset too, just for a moment. Okay, we'll switch sides and do the same thing on the opposite side. So switch your footing and work forwards and backwards. As we do this weight shifting, we allow our weight to be distributed to different areas of the foot, different orientations of the joints along the way, our hips, our knees, our ankles. And as we do so, we help the body to learn in a little bit of a different shape each step of the way. So when I'm here on my toes in the forward position, I might be learning something very different than when I'm pushing to the back heel, just based on where your weight is falling, distributing in the soles of the feet and right up through the body. Okay, next we'll do our side to side shifting. Side to side, I'm turning this way so you can see me a little better, is going to look much different than the forwards and backwards because it is a much smaller movement just based on the shape of our feet and the ability of our ankle joint overall. So as we go from side to side, we'll still be allowing the movement to come from our ankle. Wow, I thought I was going to sneeze for sure. I really thought there was one coming, but I guess not. Maybe in a few minutes it'll show up again. Be prepared. But anywho, so with this side to side motion, very small motion, there's only so much movement that our lateral medial ankle provides, right? So you can just see that I am shifting from side to side here ever so slightly, and that's the movement that you want. So keep that nice and controlled, side to side shifting. And so I was just actually even slipping a little bit there, so it looked like I was doing one of these, and we want to avoid that. So avoid your this motion coming from your hips and really try to harness it from the ankle And that may make the motion feel and look smaller, but that's okay. That smaller movement is really what we're looking for in this swaying action. Okay, we'll switch sides and continue left and right. Body weight shifting, coming from the very, very right of your feet, the right side, to the very, very left side. All right, good work. So we'll do that next with eyes closed. So we will do, again, this is multiple layers of distraction and engagement going on and taking out one of our balance systems. So switch your balance position as needed to suit the exercise. But we will be doing first forwards and backwards shifting on this first side with eyes closed. Okay? If you want to hold onto your surface as you get settled into this movement, right? So if you're forwards and backwards shifting with eyes closed, you're holding on, feeling a little bit more secure, you can slowly release that. Sometimes people might like to have their eyes open as they start this way and then close them. Or maybe just standing still with your eyes closed and then beginning this way. So if there's steps that you need to take to get there, that's okay. Just find yourself eventually forwards and backwards shifting with eyes closed. Your surface is nearby if and as needed to reset. Really, a lot of this wobbliness that we feel, even if we're taking a step outward at times in a minimal capacity, those are all valuable things to help us learn how to correct ourselves when we find ourselves in a challenging balance situation. So that's really what we're getting out of this wobbliness and these moments of uncertainty in the balance positions. All right, open your eyes. We'll switch sides. And we'll do eyes closed, side to side shifting on this side. Okay? So again, get there however you need to. But we'll be doing eyes closed, side to side shifting, small movement. This doesn't have to be anything drastic. All right, eyes are open. Good job. You can shake the legs out again a little bit here. So we will combine both of those movements and make a circular rotation with the body, right? So I'll do this with a normal stance first, just so you can see what I'm up to. So again, coming from the ankle joint, we are bringing the body around in a circular rotation. So you can see I'm moving forwards and back, but I'm mixing that side to side action. Okay, and we'll do this in our balance position. In our balance position, whichever one you've been working through. And I also like to think of this as if someone had traced a line around the sole of your feet. right? So the soles of your feet, really. So if someone took a magic marker and went right around, tracing the very, very edge of your foot, and you are dropping your weight along that Sharpie permanent marker line. So really tracing the outer edges of your feet here in this circular rotating shape. Along the right side, the front of the toes, down the left side, across the heel, back up the right side. Good work. Keep going a little bit more. All right. We'll switch sides, and we will do that in the opposite direction. If you can remember which way you were going, I should have been like, hey, remember which direction you're going in, because we're going to switch it up. So just change your direction here. Continue your circular shifting, tracing that outer edge. And this will look and feel very different depending on which balance position you're in, right? So if you've got feet together, you're tracing the edge along your feet, and they're really at like a side-to-side position. If you're in full tandem, your feet are more front to back, and you're going to trace still that outer edge as if your feet were connected as a unit too. Sometimes people might start trying to do both feet individually at the same time, but you want to think of your feet as a unit here in this rotating shift. Right, good work. We're going to do one more balance exercise here before we move on to our strengthening. And for this one, we'll be doing eyes closed with a distraction. A distraction is a layer of challenge that we can add on. It preoccupies our mind, because most often when we're doing these balance exercises, we are directly addressing the balance. We're thinking, okay, I've got to maintain my right side's kind of feeling a little bit like I'm not as strong there. I've got to lift my right, and I've got to maintain my shape in my torso to keep myself. So anyways, what we're doing in our heads as we're doing these balance exercises, we're focusing on the balance, we're thinking about it, fully invested in the balance. So when we distract ourselves and we start to do a mental task and become preoccupied with it, we allow our balance systems to do more of the work than our conscious effort. So what we'll do for this distraction, we will be in our balance position with eyes closed. We'll do an alternating type task, so 2 tasks at once, kind of a alternating pattern. The first task will be months of the year, okay? So January, February, March, and then the second task will be thinking of words that start with the letter L, okay? So that will look like this. You'll be standing in your balance position, eyes are closed, and you're thinking to yourself, maybe saying to yourself out loud if you want to, January, luck. February, lion. March, lake, and so on. Go through the end of the calendar year, start again at January when you get there. Keep thinking of new L words, and we'll do this for about a minute here. Okay, so eyes are closed. And you're alternating in this task, standing in your balanced position. All right, open up your eyes, switch sides, and this time we'll do a different task, okay? So we'll be spelling to the beach because this could be a good day for it. If you're in Maine, we've had a couple foggy days on the coast, I think, so the sun finally peeked out this morning. Maybe if you're a beach goer, today could be the day. So we'll be spelling to the beach, and then we'll be thinking of as many dessert foods as you can, right? That's a good thing for us to be thinking of on Monday at 10 o'clock in the morning. All right, so we will be doing tea, ice cream, O, cannoli, tea, cake. All right, so spelling to the beach, letter by letter, alternating that with desserts, different desserts. Eyes are closed in your balanced position. Start that pattern. All right, open your eyes. Good work. Balance portion of class is taken care of. We've done all of our targeted balance exercises for the day. Really good work, everyone. So if you'd like to come into your seat now and take a quick little break before we get into our strengthening portion of class, now is a good time to grab some water if you need it. Okay, for our strengthening portion of class, we'll be doing our sit to stands first. So I'll just do a demo of this and show you what it looks like. You're again going to want to revisit those posture points, finding yourself shifted more towards the edge of your seat, knees. I almost said hip, I said knees. I meant to say feet, right? I'm looking down and I'm like, I just can't say it for some reason. Your feet, you'll want them to be hip width apart, which is, I think, why I wanted to say hip. But feet are hip width, they're not really far out there, they're not tucked in like our balance positions. Hip width apart, nice base of support there. And you're coming from your sitting position up into your standing. There's our demo. And it's going to be dependent on what you need. If you need to do 5 of these, if you feel like you can do all 10 that we're counting to, please try to aim for that. But if you need to take a step back and do half of those, or 7 or 8, whatever you need, focus on that, and where you can grow from there, maybe working your way towards 10. And also, use your arms if you need them. If you've got a chair that has a point to push off of, or even if you've got one like this, and you need to push off of the seat just to get your momentum going, please go ahead. But ideally, try to work away from the use of your arms and focus on using the legs to rise. All right. So like I said, each set of these will have 10, and we'll try to go for 10 altogether, but work with what number works for you. We'll do a couple sets and we'll begin. Okay, everybody square yourselves up, try to get into those good posture points, and we will lift for 1. And come down. Okay, these are our sit to stands. Here's 2. 3, remember to breathe through all of these strengthening exercises. 4, and remember to keep your lowering nice and controlled. It's a big part of the exercise. 5, the more control that we give there, the more opportunity we give for strengthening in the hamstrings. 6, 7, 8, 9, and here's our last one in this set, 10. Okay, great work. Great work. We will do a little bit of a shift for the next 2 sets. So on this first one, we will move our right foot forward slightly. In moving the right foot forward, the back left leg will get a little bit more attention in each of these reps, right? So throughout this set, we'll find that the back leg might be doing a little bit more of the work. And for the next set, we'll switch so that the right leg gets more attention. All right? And we'll go for 10 of these. Your shift forward of the right foot doesn't have to be by a whole stride's length or anything like that, just a couple inches, even half an inch or so, whatever you're comfortable with there. Okay, get ready and go. For 1, 2, 3, 4. Try to keep your knees pointed straight out in front of you. There's 5. We're tracking over your toes so that they're all pointing in the same direction. 6, 7, 8, 9, one more in this set. 10, good work. Good job, everyone. These are no walk in the park. These are our kind of gold standard of balance exercise because they pay attention to all the muscles of the lower limbs. However, they are hard work, so keep it up. Good job, everyone. Okay, switch your stance. So slide your left leg forward rather than the right. This time isolating the right leg in the back for some extra isolated strengthening. And remember to breathe as we're going through, so really keep your breath present. It's important that we breathe, especially as we do our strengthening. Okay, everybody ready? Last set of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, couple more, keep going, keep your control, very important, keep your control. 8, lower, slow. 9, and 10. Woohoo! We did it. Good work. Lower back down. And we'll actually be standing up for our next exercises. So when you're ready, take a slight rest if you need to, and then meet me behind your chair or set up with whatever surface you like to work with. Okay. Our next strengthening exercise is our side leg lift. For our side leg lift, we are putting all of the weight into one leg. We can start by doing so on our right side. So our right leg will be our standing leg here. Our left leg will be our working leg. And we're bringing our leg out to the side. Side leg lift. As we do so, you want to keep in mind a few things. You want your toes to be pointed out so that they're headed straight in front of you, same direction as your torso. You want to keep your torso straight. Try to avoid using the momentum of your torso to dip to the side. You'll want to keep it nice and straight. Motion is coming from your hip. Okay? Keep that activity just in the hip area, not in the whole body. And we'll be doing 2 sets of these on each side. When we get to our number 10 count, so we'll be doing these for 10, 1, just like this. When we get to number 10, we're gonna hold the leg out there. I'm gonna count to 10 for little pumps out to the side. So these nice little oscillations, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, bring it back into the middle. So that's on our very last count. When we get to number 10, we hold and bring it back in. All right, so we'll go for 10 of these on the left side. Right leg roots down, nice slight bend in the knee just to keep some extra support to the joint. And we're going to bring this leg out to the side for 1, 2, 3. These we keep nice and slow. The slower we keep them, the more opportunity we can give for strengthening. There's 4, 5, 6. You're holding onto your surface here as well, so getting some support from that surface. 7, 8, 9, nice control. Hold for this 10th one. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Back into the middle. Give a nice little shake to your legs and switch sides so that your left leg is rooting down. This is your standing leg, and your right leg will be your working leg. We'll go out to the side for 10. There's 1, 2, slow, control, 3. Try to find the same pace on your way out as you give to yourself on the way back in. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Here's our hold. So bring your leg out and do 10 little pumps for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Back to your center. You can shake the legs out a little bit. They've been working extra hard all class long. And just as a heads up, we're approaching 10:30. It's about 10:28 now, just a few seconds before. So we'll do one more set of these on each side. And if you want to stick around for a stretch, please do so. But if you have to buzz out, go right ahead. Because I'll probably run a couple minutes over, shouldn't be too far over. But we're just going to get this last set on each side and then a calf stretch in before we head out for the rest of our day, for the rest of our week. All right? So everyone, find your footing here, get your right foot rooted down, and we're going to do our set on the left side. Okay? Left leg is working for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maintain this speed. 6, 7, 8, 9. Last one on your hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Back into the middle. Take a nice little shake of the legs, and you'll probably, as you go along, you'll feel this in both sides. Even the standing leg will get some activity just by maintaining your stance, right? Just by holding all of the weight in your right or left leg, whichever side's doing the work, vice versa at the time. You're going to be feeling this in both sides through the activity, and that's a good sign, as long as it's a muscular type feeling. Okay. Left leg is going to root down. This will be our standing leg. Right leg is going to be working. We'll go for 10 more with our hold at the end. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Keep it steady, only a few more. 8, 9. And our last one with our hold here for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Bring it back into your middle. Good work, everyone. Those are great. Really help us with our one-legged activities, which include walking, using the stairs. That is a muscle that helps to keep our hips level as we're doing all those things. So it's important in our mechanism as we're walking, because we're on one foot with each step, right? And also in using the stairs, the same thing. You're on one foot between each stair. Good work. We'll take our stretch and we'll be off for the rest of the day. For our calf stretch, our gold standard balance stretch, we like to use this one because finding some length in our calf can help give us more mobility at the ankle joint, allowing for better toe clearance as we are walking. So that can become something that's tricky or troublesome, catching the toe on the floor as you're making your stride might be a balance challenge. So in finding some length here in the back of the calf, we can hope to avoid and manage some of those moments of toe catching. Okay. So for this one, we are standing with our hands planted onto our surface, giving ourselves we're going to lean forward a bit here, so we're going to really be trusting the surface, make sure it's a good one. I'm sure that it has been if you're this far into the class and you've been using it right along, so just as a reminder, always make sure it's a secure surface. Alright, we'll step backward with our left foot to start. Coming into this lunge position, back heel is planted into the ground, front knee is bent, and we hinge forward, leaning at the hips, trying to avoid any slumping of the shoulder in the back, trying to keep that straight back even as we lean forward. You can try to maybe focus your vision ahead of you so that you're not looking down and kind of giving some extra weight to the neck and to the upper back. Okay, shift your hips forward a little bit too, maybe if you're not feeling this quite, but try to keep your knee over your toe as best you can. And the shape is going to look very different for everyone, so it might just be that there's about this much distance between the legs, this much bend in the knee, and you may be just using your hands rather than, I come down onto my forearms because that's where I feel the stretch. But whatever the shape looks like to you, find that moderate stretch in the back leg calf. And hold. All right, bring your left leg up to the middle, back leg, right leg, send your right leg backward. We're there. I've got it. Send your right leg backward, heel plants into the ground. And again, lean forward. Maybe push the hips forward a little bit until you feel that pull in the back leg calf. Doesn't have to be an intense pull. We're looking for something moderate and comfortable to hold for a longer period of time. And release. We've done it. I always feel that way when we get to the end. It's like, whew, we accomplished some balance for our starting our Monday out right. Thank you everyone for joining. So nice to see you all on screen in that virtual way. Stay tuned. We've got more balance classes virtually on the way. I think we've got one coming up through the Cape Elizabeth Community Center, perhaps on Wednesday mornings. Not an in-person class, but something virtual. So if you have any interest in that, do let us know. I, off the top of my head right now, don't know the details, but Jason, our owner and physical therapist at the clinic, will be teaching that. So yeah, if you do have any questions, message in and I'll be able to get you some better details in that way. Thank you so much. Thank you, Del. Thank you. Nice to see you on the comments. And everybody have a good week. Be well, be balanced, and we will see you next time. Bye. Take care.